There are pros and cons to both seed and sod. Sod is more expensive and labor intensive, but you'll get an instant lawn, fewer weeds, and there's less maintenance after it's installed. Seed is much cheaper and easier to install. You'll have a wider range of grass seed species to choose from, and lawns started from seed develop deeper root systems. Choose quality seed. Yes, unfortunately, grass seed may contain weed seeds. And although it's true, the majority of weeds will work their way into the lawn in open, bare soil while you're waiting for the seed to germinate, a newly seeded lawn is going to be high maintenance for a month or more, and it'll take a year or two to fully establish. Grass species vary. Choose one that'll give you a lawn that you want, from functional to a don't step on it showcase lawn. It depends on where you live, whether it'll be in the sun or shade, and how much foot traffic you expect. With 3 boys and 2 dogs, we went the functional route. I relied on our landscaper for advice on what seed blend he's had the most success with in this area. I did tell him that I wanted a high % of Kentucky bluegrass because it does well in our climate. After the landscaper distributed the huge piles of topsoil and finished the final grading, it was finally time to seed. I've never been a fan of mulching with hay. I was afraid it would have a lot of weed seeds, but I quickly changed my mind. It was more important to maintain even moisture during the germination period and keep the seedlings cool. Mats of hay were unrolled like carpeting to protect both soil and seed. The hay will also decompose and add organic matter to the soil, much needed considering we only had 2 inches of topsoil. It's important to use the proper fertilizer when seeding a new lawn. After the seed was lightly raked in by hand for good soil contact, a fertilizer mix was applied. It was a mix of starter fertilizer and Milorganite. The starter fertilizer provides a shot of quick-release nitrogen and phosphorus to jumpstart germination and help set roots. Milorganite's slow-release nutrients balance the quick-release nutrients of the starter fertilizer. It also added more organic matter to my rocky soil. It's important to keep a newly seeded lawn evenly moist for the first few weeks until the seed has germinated and started to grow. Before you begin, consider how you're going to water. We looked into renting an irrigation system for a few weeks. It would have cost about $2,500. Considering a permanent irrigation system would have cost between $2,500 and $5,000. When we compared the rental to installation, the cost didn't make sense, and we don't plan on installing an irrigation system anyway. We opted for the traditional low-tech option, an oscillating sprinkler and 300 feet of hose. The challenge was moving it around nearly an acre of land every day. You wouldn't think keeping the yard watered would be a big deal, but for us it was. We never thought the weather would suddenly climb to the 90s in late September. That's just not normal for us up north. Watering suddenly became a part-time job. If we didn't keep the soil moist, we risked the entire investment dying shortly after it germinated. My husband and I took days off of work to keep it watered. When we had to run to the office, we asked our parents to move the sprinklers. I wasn't about to lose what I just spent for my new lawn because of crazy hot weather. Make sure your budget is realistic before you start. You'll avoid some unpleasant, costly surprises. Purchase the best topsoil and grass seed possible. Look to your professional landscaper for advice. Consider the pros and cons of seeding and sodding. Add mulch and water to keep the seed and soil moist. Go to our website and see the blog posts that accompany this video series. And stop back to see the next video in the series and hear more about my adventure of starting a new lawn from seed.